Good morning.
Vietnam, what's up? Good morning, fam. What's good? Out here with the Tuluminati.
Yeah.
Sachin Saindane. If y'all don't know who this guy is, you should follow him. I don't think I can tag him on this. But we're going to do a little impromptu live, chilling with the big boys.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. La Bamba.
La Bamba. Yeah. So we got my boy Sachin here. Came out from Seattle. This is day 4, day 5.
This is, I guess, day 1. As we call it in Amazon.
It's all day 1. Yeah, it's all day 1. But, man, we're going to bring his bro on, Akash Pardisi, and we're going to fucking vibe. We've been doing an immersion out here in Tulum, and, wow. If you could see our view, it's just, it's fucking 10 out of 10. Palm trees, Atlantic Ocean, the beauty way. And yeah, we've been talking about a lot of different topics on this immersion: health, wealth, relationships, getting strong, building a vision for the year. Everybody has New Year's resolutions, right? Everybody has, oh, I want to lose weight, or I want to get a boyfriend, or I want to do this, and blah, blah, blah. But really, you got to break it down scientifically, natural law style. Just something we've been doing, and yeah.
Absolutely.
Let me see if I can get our boy on here. Give him an invite. There he is. I don't see him on yet, but when he comes on, I'll invite him. Ed, you want to share a little bit about waking up this morning, a couple takeaways from this week? We've been going hard, I feel like. It's been nonstop. There he is. Or maybe you want to introduce Akash, your boy.
Absolutely. Let me start, yeah. Hey, folks, my first time going live on Instagram or any sort of a live streaming channel for that matter. So, yeah, bear with me here. Yeah, and I'm taking all my power from my brother here, Kevin, is right next to me. And just someone who's been such a terrific support for me and my career and my health over the years. I think he's the one who got me on the right path, the path to just being my highest self. And so a little bit about myself. I was, how should I start? Born hungry, naked, broke, like all of us. In the city of Mumbai, in India. And, watching Bollywood. And it was an amazing time. Grew up in a pretty, I'd say, moderate household, big dreams all along. And spent my first 20 years of my life growing up in India. And then sort of moved over to the United States for higher education.
There he is.
Akash! All right.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go.
We got all the big boys.
Let's go.
Yeah!
Let's go.
What's going on, fam? What's going on?
I'm the only one without a beard. I'm the only one.
We gotta get this guy a beard. Get the man some beard oil.
Hey, he's Indian. He's Indian. It's only gonna take like 1/18 the time as normal people. It's okay.
Damn, you rocking some blue blockers over there? What do you got?
Oh.
Honestly, I feel like it just makes me look smarter when I have it on. But yeah, I got some blue blockers on. Sure. The politically correct response, like, yeah, it helps me be in like a theta wave brain state, in like when I'm in beta wave mode. But no, it's really just because it looks good on my face. I thought it'd be more professional.
Fuck yeah, bro. It definitely makes you look more intelligent. IQ goes up by 20 points.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Thank you. I appreciate you noticing that. I can feel it off you. That's
no, amazing story behind those glasses that maybe we should share at some point. Yeah.
I'm at Sachin's house, man, for his party. I was like, can I just wear glasses? I didn't take them off for the whole night. Oh, no, he sends me home with them. Bless you. I've been having these glasses on ever since, bro. Thank you.
That's what's up. Do you want to introduce our brother here, Akash? Because I know you guys have been working together. I've been hearing nothing but good things about the beard and about the guns, the big boy.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, let me just do a quick introduction. I think these men don't need an introduction. I recommend you guys follow their work. Just absolutely masters of their craft, and I'm just so blessed to have them in my life. It's amazing. I've had an amazing career myself. Coming here, grad school, education, computer science, and whatnot, and got married, and raised a family while also trying to build my career and establishing myself in a completely new country, United States, moving from India. And all along, I was just struggling to figure out how much further I can take myself. Is money and family the only two dimensions I'm going to grow in? And that's why I actively started seeking folks and brothers who could kind of be at the level that I'm at. I first met Kevin back in 2017, maybe 2018 at Grounding Man. One of the things that we did, men's work we did in New York, and we've been connected since. And he really put me down on a path of discipline and the mindset game, really. And we did an immersion in 2019 in Costa Rica, which was just absolutely mind-blowing. I had just so many breakthroughs, and my career just took off. And one of the big goals I had at the time was to actually, get my health back in order. I was out of shape, not happy with what I was doing, and I was struggling with my diet and everything else. I sort of needed a role model who could kind of really, drill that discipline in me. And that's when Akash Aesthetics comes along.
Yeah.
And, just truly figured out what was blocking me and helped me get back on track. And so if you guys go back and follow, he's a fitness coach. He's a reality master, which is something that I'd let Akash talk about a bit more. But Akash has his fitness game down. He's got his spirit game down. Just a fully embodied alpha, and a light worker like all of us, and just really, really got me going on a path. I remember I used to wake up not before 10 a.m. and you couldn't do nothing to get me to get up or do a workout or even freaking fast. And I think for the past 2 years, there's been no alarm set. Thanks to Akash, I've been waking up, enjoying all of my day, soaking in everything that there is. Wasn't easy, but now it's here to stay. My reality has changed. So that's Akash for you guys. Thank you, Akash, for all your contributions. And
Legend.
yes, brother for
Thank you,
life.
brothers. Thank you.
Yes. So good to meet you, Akash. Do you want to respond
Yes.
a little bit to that? Like when you say like a reality master, like what's up with that, bro? Are we talking about muscles and metaphysics?
Oh, I like that. It rolls off the tongue nicely. Hashtag muscles and metaphysics. But no, just real quick, just going through the personal development route, I always felt like there was like a manual missing just for the human being living experience. You don't teach it in school, even in classic personal development. It kind of gets capped at the neurological and psychological places of creating an identity. But what's behind that? And I always felt there was like this realm behind it. Just even as much as I, mastered just the typical personal. I won't get too much into it. Everyone already knows if you know personal development and mastered those principles, rules, laws. I was like, there's still something here missing. I can feel it in my soul. What is that? And then enter reality mastery. It's a blueprint for having control over your human being living experience, how to find that, how to figure out what is yours, and how it has practical application in your life, in your day-to-day trials and tribulations, whatever you're trying to manifest. So that's what I teach. That's what I do. And I'm happy to get more into it as we go, but I'm just gonna let the flow unfold however it does. You guys already know how that goes. And yeah, man, I'm just excited. I'm ready to rock. Kevin, it's a pleasure meeting you today.
Yeah, bro.
Go ahead and take the reins and be the host and ask away.
Yeah, I love it. I love that we're meeting this way. And, I'm sure you know Elliot Hulse because that was our first connection was we went to the first all men's Elliot Hulse camp grounding man out in Echo Lake, New York. And I think the common denominator that I found was Sachin working together and being bros. And I think what he's told me a lot about your work is that, men today, masculine men that want to be strong, they want to be healthy, they want to have good relationships, and they want to, like you're saying, master their reality. They want to master their kingdom. I always love working with the archetypes. So for me, it's like the king archetype. Every man wants to grow into a king. And You know, a lot of us didn't have fathers that A, modeled that for us, and B, the society, the culture, the conditioning doesn't give a shit. It's showing.
Not that gives a shit.
Well, it gives a shit. And like the masculine persona, or what's presented through Hollywood and corporate media, you know, it doesn't get the job done. And I think this is why a lot of guys get into fasting, meditation, lifting, you know, personal development on many layers. I know for me, that my path went through yoga and tantra, and then came into men's work, and, you know, working personally with Elliot and meeting Sachin and going to these places in myself where I was like, wow, I don't know, and I wasn't taught how to become the strongest man that I can possibly be. So I'll kick it to you there. What do you got to say
Love
to
that.
that?
Love that.
What's amazing about that is just universal. I've seen that in back home when I was growing up. I saw that when I came here, and all the the 25 years I've spent in the tech industry. I see that everywhere. Just poor role models. Not folks who are there to lift other people up, and a lot of competitive environments and so on and so forth. It pushes us as men to be better, but it only pushes us in one dimension. It's the optics, as I call it. What title do you have at work? What your bank balance looks like, what you drive, all the things that are very much on the surface. And underneath of that is just missing a strong core. The centerpiece is missing, like the Starboy song. And so, I struggled. I struggled with this. I read the books. I tried to get help. I tried to figure out what it will take for me, to really change and make a permanent shift. A lot of little things worked. The fasting worked for a little bit. The meditation worked to help stress, which is really putting it all together in such a way that my lifestyle is going to be like that, where I'm going to wake up every day excited about my day, independent of the content or what happens in the day. I am not the day. I'm not going to be run by the day.
Let's go.
And that's exactly where I realized I had to put my foot down and figure out a system and a structure that allow me to do this. And that's where my brothers came along, helped me with my mind game, with my body game, my spirit game. And it's only up and up from here, independent of how life unfolds.
Fuck yeah. Well said. The centerpiece, back to the core. You want to respond to some of that, Akash, around like
Yeah, sure.
masculinity, role models, and like development that's missing in the modern world?
Yeah. I just took a peek at your profile, Kevin, and you had that one piece about being able to say no, right, and boundaries, right, not just from like the clinical sense, like hey, saying no to things that don't resonate with you or your reality, but how do you, like, sure, that works, but how do you really know what to say no to? Because I know in my process coming up, like, I was very confused. I would say no to things that should have been a yes. I said yes to things that should have been a no. And then again, this should is like subjective because it had to happen in that now moment for me to even get the data and the feedback from the universe to figure out, is this a yes or is this a no for me? So I guess that's a great segue into like the process, right? You're like going through life and you're accumulating this data, and then you're assimilating it within your being via how does this make me feel? And then it gets kind of dicey because things can make you feel bad, but then still feel good for you, depending on the paradigm that's running. And it can still be part of your self-truth, and then it might be making you feel bad, and you're saying no to your self-truth now, and now you don't know it. So it's like it can be a little bit dicey. So when I discovered this, I'm like, oh my God, this is very complicated. I have a passion and like a knack, or it's my forte of like just seeing that, like it's my gift. I can just see these things. I'm like, this is where I am of service. But I'm like, I need to figure out some way to delineate this for other people, right? This just happens to be. I always tell people, like, I see us as equals. It just so happens to just be my job to be good at this. So this is my area of expertise. So for even though Sachin, everything he's doing, was working at Amazon. Now he's, gone off on his own, doing, career's taken off, and he's doing all this service work, with the dance studio and working at movies and everything that we're talking about. I'm like, okay, I want to empower people to be able to be leaders, be kings, to use your word, Kevin, and of their own kingdom with whatever they're doing in the world, wherever their places of service are. So like, how can I create this blueprint or a reality mastery guidebook that people can insert themselves into and then be able to discover their self-worth, their self-truth, right? Because when you to just loop this back around to what you're able to say yes to and what you're able to say no to, you have to have at least 51% of your self-truth figured out. Being just to quantify it. Otherwise, you don't know what's true or not. Right. So when you get to like 80% self truth, you're able to really have a very decisive discernment about, is this for me or is this not? Right. The
Yeah.
whole like, if this is a fuck yeah, or if it's not a fuck yeah, I'm not doing it. Like, that sounds really good, but a lot of people don't know if it's a fuck yeah. So when that happens, right, it can downward, you can downward spiral. This is very low vibrations, which, is again part of the process. All this is part of the process. It's not necessarily quote unquote bad or good, but it definitely, those emotions don't feel good. So I'm like, what can I give people to expedite that, right? I think that's a good. So I can go take that in a whole bunch of different angles. Kevin, do you see anything that you want to kind of funnel the conversation into from there?
Yeah, I love what you're dropping, Akash. I mean, what I was getting from both of what y'all shared is like, it all comes back to self-knowledge. We were talking about this yesterday at the ruins. Knowledge of self. Because like you said, what's the metric or what is the measure of what to say no to, what to include, what to exclude, what to go forward with, to be decisive with, what to step away from because it's actually not serving you. And I think a lot, especially for men, knowledge of self, I mean, it's for all humans, but really for men, knowledge of self is everything. And no one can do it for you. Mentorship is extremely powerful. Brotherhood is necessary. Your career, your colleagues, your teams, all this stuff is a lot of what we've been talking about. And ultimately, you have to go there yourself and gain self-knowledge. How do you gain self-knowledge? There's many paths. They all lead to the top of the mountain, as far as I can tell. But for me, it's been self-inquiry has been one of the biggest ones. So actually being radically honest with myself. What do I want? What is my vision? And what are my values, right? What is my mission here, my dharma on this planet? If I don't have any idea about that, or I'm not even seeking to have a relationship with that, it's going to be difficult to know how to eat,
Yes.
who to associate
Yes.
with, how to lift, how to build my
Oh
business,
yeah.
how to grow my wealth. And I think a lot of men just need to start there. Be honest with yourself about your vision, craft your purpose so it can shape you. You shape your habits and your habits shape you, right? And I know this is a lot of what we all kind of share. I think
Oh, beautiful. Well
that
said.
might be an
Really good.
Aristotle quote. But yeah, you have to start shaping your life in a direction and then let it shape you back. And unfortunately, not because of negligence or anything wrong with them, so many men haven't even begun that path because they don't even know it's available. You know,
Oh
what
yeah,
do you got to
big time.
bounce off that?
Sachin, would you like to chime in there?
Yeah.
I had a
Well,
slightly different thought as I was just listening to all this and self-inquiry. And I think that was such a powerful shift in my mindset, the one that I had. Wow. Just thinking about some of the things that happened, I just realized I was just so lost in the external world, trying to make things meet, fit boxes, pick the right labels. As an Indian male, I had to behave a certain way. It was just something that I had to do, fit in, if you will. You know.
your
And
identity.
Kurt Cobain says you're not supposed to fit in; you're supposed to stand out.
Yes.
So yeah, but the self-inquiry that you touched upon was just so powerful. I realized the deeper I went within, my external reality changes. The deeper I got into my own self, the ikigai, I realized the external was changing.
Mm.
I had to go deeper within myself to heal myself first before I could heal my marriage. I could heal my relationship with my boss. I could heal my relationship with my friends and myself and feel good at the same time. Just realize the path is actually inside first, and the inside reflects what the outside looks like. And I've just been a living example of this for the past many, many years since I've been doing this work. People have asked me at Tech, how can you survive in an intense environment like Amazon? I was running teams of hundreds and still continue to be positive, still continue to see the silver lining, if you will. And really, it comes from the fact that that's what life has been about. And I did not realize this. For me, it was a lot about making ends meet, just to realize that that was what my life is about. What it is about actually going through your inner trials, learning about yourself, and then learning that who you are deep within is what everyone else is also deep within. We all come from the same source. We're all walking each other home.
That's
I
it.
love that. I love that. That's like that whole part of like Kevin, like you said, and Sachin. Like there's like these like fundamentals that are prerequisites, and I think people need to know like that is what that is. A lot of people think that anytime they're feeling a negative emotion, like this is bad. Like just to understand like how you need to shape your reality and then let reality shape you back. While you're essentially like doing this dance with this universe, right? And everyone sucks at everything the first time. All right, so, so you're gonna miss a step, you're gonna fall down, you're learning how to do the tango. Say, oh, I'm gonna might have a little face plant here and there. It's okay, right? But let people know that it's okay and that this is what's happening. And you're like, oh yeah, but I see, Joe, and Kevin and Sachin and Nakash over there, and they seem to be having a great time with this. And it's like, yeah, but for first, this is how it looked. This is what we were doing. Here's some practical examples in our own lives that map right back to your own current dismay in the now moment that you need to look at as productive. Because if you don't look at it from a constructive place, right now your quality of thinking and your ability to see solutions and see reality for really just what it is going to be impaired, right? So, just so we start talking about like what to say yes to, what to say no to, honoring your self-truth. I think before that, you need to understand like, some basic foundations of like the laws of the universe, right? You reap what you sow, reciprocity, shaping your reality and letting it shape you back. Being able to understand that you're not going to get it right the first time and you're not supposed to. That's this whole data collection page, right? And once you can get the mind to understand, okay, this is what we're doing, you can guide someone through the process and then they can see themselves level up. They can see the progressive nature of how their reality is unfolding. No, it's not perfect, but maybe they got from 60% to 70. Maybe they got from 70 to 80. Oh my God! And wait till when you work with people that are getting from 95 to 100. Oh my God! Like it gets even more dicey, right? So, there's these just like you can't learn calculus until you go do geometry, algebra 2, trigonometry, pre-cal, right? Just don't open the calculus book, right? And what is the curriculum within, for in the analogy, right? As it relates back to reality mastery, everything we're doing here. What does that curriculum look like for, what is that geometry version of reality mastery? What's that trig version of reality mastery? What's the pre-cal, right? And then what elements of reality mastery are, the calculus part, right? You don't want to get that sequence messed up. And again, all paths lead up the mountain, right? My mission is to alleviate as much turbulence, if you will, from the process. So yeah, I couldn't agree more. You guys saying some great stuff there. Kevin, where do you think, anything resonating here for you?
Yeah, I love it. I love that natural law is coming into the conversation. We were talking about the Kybalion yesterday, and I was telling you about the Emerald Tablets and like studying the Hermetics, the natural laws of the universe, reciprocity, the law of cause and effect, the law of polarity, gender. There's these laws that govern how life works. And to my mind, one of the most powerful ways a man can help master his reality is by understanding the law. And not just understanding it, but putting it into application, where's the best place to see a laboratory and experimental analysis of natural law? It's in your own being. And that's kind of the gist here, is that it's an inside job. Inner game is going to create outer game. If you go all in on outer game, you were saying, you got the career, the trophy wife, you got the millions. But inside, you're actually feeling empty. You're actually not able to enjoy. You don't have emotional regulation. There's so many men out there right now, I'm sure, watching or know men like this, that their emptiness and like they made it to the top or they made it to a powerful place in their career, etc. And the fulfillment isn't there. And that's because, in my mind, being a student of Joseph Campbell and the archetypes and Carl Jung and, the mythopoetic reality of being a man, you have to actually go after and confront the thing you are most afraid of or most avoiding. And so I think some men right now are like, where do I even begin? Where do I start? And Joseph Campbell has this beautiful quote from the Arthurian legend, King Arthur and his knights. And they ask, like, if we're going to seek the Holy Grail is an archetype for wholeness, also an archetype for the feminine, uniting with the feminine within and without. Where do we start the journey? And Merlin, the wise sage, the magician, he's like, enter the forest on your quest at the point at which it appears darkest to you. And so each knight has to actually go and face the darkest part of himself and enter the forest, right? The chaos for him. There's not a path. It's not, oh yeah, go north and you'll find, no. He's like, start the path where it's the darkest. And that's the medicine.
Yes.
A lot of people, you got to eat the frog. You got to go after the hard thing. And then a lot of other stuff will go easy, What do you
I
got
couldn't
to
agree
say
more
about
with that. Couldn't agree more. That's a
it?
really
Bounce
good
off that?
GPS. It's a very good GPS. Go ahead, Sachin.
No, I think just, hard to top that one off, I'd say.
Well, I mean,
But-
You don't got to top it, just build it, combo it.
What I
exactly.
can share is, I think there is just light. There is no darkness. I think what it is, a way for us to move through it, to see more light. And when they say, if you don't see no light around, you are the light.
Mm-hmm. So, like, I can provide a personal story on that note, right? Before I understood like the Kabbalion and these things and whatnot, and going back to shaping your reality and letting it shape you back, there was a point where I had acquired all like the material things. I'm living in a penthouse downtown, driving a Maserati. Got a whole serial entrepreneurial thing going on, doing some real estate investment, had a supplement company at the time, doing some coaching consulting also. I'm that that guy, quote unquote. And then enter when COVID happened, right? All that got taken away from me, long story short. And then I was stripped naked, and I was like, that was my darkest point. I actually didn't want to look at the darkest point at a point in the universe. I was like, all right, well, Kosh doesn't want to look. We're going to like forcefully take his head, and then we're going to take his consciousness. We're going to point in the direction of the dark. And that's actually what really took me into like a huge spiritual awakening. Like really, I had a few of them already, but like the real deep dissolving of the ego. Because I had like radical discipline in defending this archetype of the superhero archetype that made all the childhood traumas seem okay. And for me, I had not that it's a competition, but I'll say that as strong-willed as I am, like I had just so much willpower that I didn't even take a single day off the gym for 3 years straight when I first started working out. Like not one day, not one for like 3 years straight. So that's where I come from. I applied that to business and everything. So I just didn't see it. I just didn't see it. And when I did see it, oh man, it got really, really dark. I remember getting super sick for 2 weeks to the point where like I'm on my couch and I'm like, my body's in so much physiological pain that I'm like, do I want to walk 10 feet to the bathroom or just hold my piss right now? Sorry not to be vulgar, but straight up. Because how much pain I would be in just to get to the bathroom. Like there wasn't any life force in my being, like my bones even hurt to move. And it got really to that point. And, that was my darkest point. I remember just like being in my house and just like surrendering everything. I thought I was going to die. Like I probably did die. I never like contemplated suicide or anything like that, but there was like a half a second moment where I was like, I'm living at like the 7th floor over here, and I'm like, I could just jump out. Not like just seriously. I got there for about half a second, a legit half a second, and I was like, oh my! At that point, I just surrendered everything. I was like, God, if somehow you can just help me, like all I will do is just help other people. Like, that's all I care about.
Well, the personality was dying. The pain
fully
actually
died.
takes your personality to the breaking point.
Exactly. So I just wanted to share that just for people. I was like, I totally understand the amount of pain that's in the process. And there's darkness is just the absence of light. I didn't want to look in the darkest place, and then I was forced to. When I did look at it, I found out that what, it's not too bad. It's not too bad at all. I was like, oh wow, you just shine some light on the shadow. Now there's no more shadow there. But I was just so good at just keeping everything funneled and keeping everything together that you know, just needed the wake up call. And, you know, that's the co-creating nature of the universe working for you, working with you, you know. And then when you're going through that, right, understanding universal law, having a coach, having a guide, being like, you know, understanding that this is a benevolent universe, right? You just something. So I couldn't trust myself with anything anymore. So, you know, borrowing the vibration, borrowing the belief from, you know, a guide or another brother that has accomplished that, you know, is paramount to navigating through it. And you know, having had that standing on the shoulders of giants, you know, I was like, I'm just paying it forward now at this point, paying it forward.
That's it. That's it. Because like, what do we do before enlightenment? Chop wood, carry water. What is
There you go.
enlightenment? Just knowledge
Chop
of
wood,
self.
carry water.
And what do we do after? Chop wood,
Chop
carry
wood,
water.
carry water. Yeah.
And this is the idea we were exploring a little bit the other day around shadow work, or you can call it shadow dancing, shadow play. It doesn't have to always be work, right? It's not like, oh fuck, I don't want to do this.
I like shadow play. Shadow play.
Shadow play, because you know we're dancing and playing with the parts of ourselves that we left behind in time. Okay, this is the mind fuck. You're talking about childhood trauma. You're talking about unprocessed emotion. For me, my like red pill awakening was getting cheated on in college. I thought this woman was going to be my wife and was like super Catholic and wanting to be the good boy and not have sex before marriage. And I found out I'd been getting cheated on for months from people I thought I trusted. And that shadow, which is all the parts of me that didn't want to be abandoned, were codependent, were unmet, unloved, childhood parts, ignorant parts, you know, I had to like face that. And that's what popped me out of going to grad school. That's what popped me into personal development, into yoga, into martial arts, into all the stuff that now has served me to come to a space where I'm like, my God. Now when it happens, now it's still not easy. I still have my shit today, and there's still new dark nights coming. I think it's a process, right? But now I know that when I don't resist the pain, and this is Power Now yesterday we were listening to, when I don't resist the pain, and I allow it to move through me and I feel it, even if it's fucking intense, it's grief, it's rage, it's, oh, I don't want this. No, I had such a good thing going. Like you're saying, Akash, I had the business. It was all good. This is what Corona is doing for everyone right now. Corona is a mass initiation. Anything that's not working, marriage, work, your body, your relationships, you're getting bitch slapped right now. Wake up. You got to move the energy. Everybody's getting an opportunity right now.
Everyone is.
Right? Do I have a problem that's impeding me, or do I have a huge opportunity to quantum leap my life right now? And that's how we need to be taught to think about extreme pain. And then, you know, have that community and have this, you know, for me, I'm offering community, but more so this guidebook that says, yes, that is what that is. You in those moments where you're dissolving your identity, you have no type of criteria for what is right, what is wrong. You can't trust yourself. You're in between levels. You're just this Play-Doh, right? You're like, I don't know anymore, right? So you're in this void state. And right, and like that's what I think we're all bringing into the world. Like for people that are in the void, and the void can come at all different levels of the game, you know, in between dark nights and whatnot. But something to like lean on when you can't lean on yourself anymore. You know, I think that's just the most crucial thing for people. And
this is why community is necessary, and why brotherhood is necessary. And this is something we were speaking about. I mean, that's how we met. Yep. We met at a men's event where brothers are gathering to develop themselves. Yeah. That's also what led you to Akash, right? Researching him, finding him. Yeah. I'm curious for you. I mean, Sachin, you have a unique perspective because, you know, being a man from India, an immigrant, and also a tech professional who's put years in. Like, what are some of the things you notice around that, where maybe your own dark night or with other men that are high performers, professionals, like around this topic?
Yeah, the dark night of the soul. You know, it took me a while to even grasp that concept. You know, was it the day when I failed in my exams growing up? Was it the time when my parents felt like I wasn't good enough to accomplish anything great in life? Or was it the time when girls rejected if I talked to them? and what that made me feel. I thought that those were the painful moments. I felt like coming to United States, giving everything up, taking a huge loan, trying to pursue higher education was, the challenge or the pain. And it was not until much later when I was actually, everything was in motion and I had my job and was on my path to getting citizenship and working on my marriage and so on and so forth. That's when it truly, truly hit me is the dark parts are the dark parts within me that I need to confront. It's not the one that the life is throwing at me. I had to dig within and figure out where I'm creating a mess in my life, places where I'm not honoring my own word, places where I'm leaking my energy and I'm building toxicity or just emotions that are not healthy for myself and more importantly, people around me. And then realizing how that manifests out in the world. For me, Dark Night was, it's hard to describe. Akash maybe can share a little bit more about that, but it's just been traumatizing. Times when I was going for these promotions, I was doing everything right just to realize that's not going to go through after 2 years. Or going after that, investment that didn't pay off, or working on that course with my queen that wasn't working out in the long run, and just traumatizing when the results were not paying off despite of doing the work. And I really had to step back and ask myself, where am I failing or not showing up? So for me, the Dark Night, the most recent experience was actually coming. The reason that led me to come here is, November, December, just struggling with myself. I noticed that my relationship with my father was sort of, strained. With my son, with my boss, my queen was getting strained. And the only thing that was common was me. So what was missing? What was missing was someone who couldn't clearly see where he needed to be, what empowerment looks like. I couldn't see where I was failing. I could only see where other people were failing me. That's where I got trapped. And so I had to look inwards. And my dark night was just bad. For days, realizing that I'm failing and just finding pain in that and then processing it and allowing it to be and fully owning it. And to me, a lot of it was childhood trauma. I lost my mom at a very young age, and we had a very strained relationship all as long as we were together, 20 years. And she was the one who initiated me into, I guess, spirituality. But on the physical level, she had a lot of expectations of me, and no matter what I did, I felt like I wasn't meeting those expectations ever, or wouldn't have. And so I realized my inner actually dark night was me fighting and healing my own relationship with my mom first. But even realizing that that was broken and I was carrying this resentment for years and I didn't even know it. And it was bad, it was painful. I had to go through conversations with myself, share uncomfortable details with people around me, show myself as weak and fully vulnerable. And that's when I owned it, and that's when I was able to release it and then just free myself
Wow.
from my past.
Yeah, beautiful.
Beautiful,
In
brother.
terms of high
I like to hear
performance
these things.
individuals out there that I have seen, high performance is a lovely term. I love it. I'm known to build high performing teams at Amazon, a place that's already intense. And it's always deliver more, make more money for the business, and look good and perform, right? Performance, that's an interesting one. And you switch from what they perform to how they are being when they perform, and now the game shifts. A person in power and strength doesn't need to perform, just needs to be himself because he attracts power, strength, and all the other things in life.
Performance is a side effect.
It's a side
Being
Yes.
That was a big learning for me, and I've seen that high performing individuals such as you guys, that's where it's at, coming from a place of complete alignment.
Fuck yeah, Akash. What do you say to that?
Yeah, every time business owners ask me, like, okay, what's the number one thing you can do to increase revenue in my business, right? I always say, like, notice moment to moment what state of being you're in, right? Because it's binary. There's really two states of being. You're either in a parasympathetic state or a sympathetic state in your nervous system. You're either in a fight or flight response, or you're in rest and relaxation. You're either in a flow state or you're not in a flow state. Like there's really no in between. It's very binary. Right. So that keeps it simple, right? So like every time you're not in a state of empowerment, you're not connected to your intelligence. Your quality of thinking is radically impaired, right? So that's no place to be. So I always, Because if you have a ship and it doesn't matter like how many rows are in the ocean, how dope your crew is, you put some new sails up and the wind is blowing, but you have a hole in your ship, in a big hole, right? Now this doesn't matter anymore, right? Your ship's going down. Doesn't matter how perfect you make everything on everything else, right? If you got a hole in your ship, in your unique ship, it doesn't matter, right? And like that's me, right? I know the business, the identity, all the outside, the revenue, all these things. I had a hole in my ship. I had a hole in my shit. It's always trauma, right? And so if there's something happening, to me that's taking me out of my sense of peace, out of alignment, that's 100% of the time due to the meaning I have on the experience. It has to do with my own thinking. If there's something that's knocking me out of a sense of peace, it's always how I'm thinking about the situation. As extreme as the situation may be, it's always my thinking around the situation that has a meaning that is forcing me to emotionally orient to the situation in a non-empowering way. So we go through this process of changing your state moment to moment. Like, okay, if I get knocked out of my sense of peace, asking, okay, understanding first if it's my fault, like something I'm thinking about the situation is not working for me. Okay, well, what might that be? What is the thinking? Right? Delineate the thinking, articulate the thinking to yourself. This is like where the whole journaling thing comes in. Like, this is not the thing. Like, oh, they do your journaling thing. I'm like, but why? I'm like, but why? Right? So I'm like, this is exactly where you should do your journaling. Or in my case, I did it in meditation. Some people like the do it in your own head. I'm a do it in your own head type of guy. I don't really like to write down. Whatever works for you, whatever modality. Right? But then you can see the thinking, and then you can like, okay, let me, even though I may not agree or whatnot, let me just suspend my disbelief for a moment and look at the opposite of the thinking. Right. And then I was like, okay, the brain has a reticular activating system where you buy a new car, you see it everywhere. Right. So like literally if someone is like gets traumatized by a dog as a kid, they will forever think all dogs are evil.
Yeah.
This is the car they bought.
Yeah.
They will think their brain will literally not notice happy, friendly dogs. And if the brain does, it will warp the mannerisms of the happy, friendly attributes to look aggressive to that person.
Right.
Just to have a simple example real quick. Right. And when you work on the trauma and get over that, right, I won't, digress too much on like how that looks like. Literally now the person will notice happy, friendly dogs. Like if you're a business owner and you have, a belief running, like, I'm talking to a team member and then something's not getting done for like the 6th time. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm like not a good leader. I'm my things are not going well. I'm wasting time here. And then it's very easy for my thinking to, get into a negative place. So, stop yourself. I'm like, wait, what's my thinking? My thinking is that I'm not a good leader. Well, I'm like, okay, every time you're running that belief, your brain's now going to generate evidence that I'm not a good leader, right? I explained this 7 times. Maybe I'm not articulating it right enough. Everything's moving slow. I just, I didn't close a couple sales because I was like, off my game before talking to a team member. Now this is happening. Okay, let me just hold on real quick.
Yeah.
What's the opposite of the thinking? Well, I'm not a good leader. The opposite is I'm good. I am a good leader. Right. So let me just roll with that real quick. I'm like, what evidence, right? Just suspending my disbelief. Let me just play with this. What evidence can I find for I am a good leader?
Yes.
Right. What evidence can I find? And the brain, right? That question is the inquiry into the mind, right? The subconscious database. I'm like, and then right there when I ask a question, I'm like, oh, there have been a lot of times I get compliments all the time on my good leadership abilities. This person is in the Philippines. This is like a virtual assistant. I'm saving hella money on revenue right now. English is their second language. Maybe I don't suck. Maybe I just need to be more patient, and then they will get it, and then I'm going to save a whole bunch of money. And then even like right now, as I like narrate this back to you guys, just even the level of enthusiasm in my body, talking about what's not constructive versus it's totally the other way. Next thing you know, you can't unsee it. So right when you can see the opposing trajectory in that moment, you can't unsee it. It literally knocks you back into an empowered state of being. And now you're back in flow state. You understand you have a proper orientation to what's going on. And then right there, you're just off to the races, right? But it's always coming back to, then like, well, I always ask myself, well, what happened there in the first place, right? Self-doubt, right? I learned like, okay, I wasn't quite a millionaire yet. I was like, what caused this? I'm like, damn, I always wanted to be a millionaire. You know what I mean? I was like, what is that? Like, that's literally what caused that. So then I look, where'd that come from, right? Then we go back to the trauma. Right? Because it's one thing to keep changing your state, but if you don't nip it in the bud of what caused it, But then how do you find the seed, right? Doing this process, and then you can look at it and get outside of it and look at it on top from a bird's eye view. And that's why the coaching work and whatnot that we do, because when you're in it, right? So that's my
Yeah.
little
Fuck yeah.
that's my little piece right there. On that
You're invoking the law of cause and effect.
there you go.
The law of, like, we want to deal with causes and address them, not effects.
Yes.
And, you know, Osho, one of my faves, was how I found Elliot, by the way. He talks about so many people with the traumas or the distortions are trimming the leaves. They're picking the flowers. They're cutting the branches. But he's like, with meditation, you must burn the seed. You must burn the seed of the root of what is actually, not even the roots, the seed that's creating all of it. And that to me is always the mind fuck, and exactly what you're describing, Akash, where if you just cultivate self-doubt, which self-doubt isn't a bad thing, right? This is a powerful path of inquiry. Like you said, it's like, fuck, I'm such a bad leader. I'm a bad husband. I'm fucking up. Like, oh, look at this. Have doubt. Doubt that belief for a second. Even 1 second can do it. Wait, is that true?
Oh yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
true? And then, like you said, entertain the opposite. You could reshift your entire business or life in 1 second of pure awareness of beliefs that are not real or true. And then reprogram, and then, like, you're talking about the science of reprogramming it, using a reticular activating system, working with subconscious, you know, it's code. This stuff is code. Like, you talk about engineering and computer science. This is that neo shit. It's code. You can go into the code and you can rewrite lines. There's bad code that we were fed from society and from our parents. Our parents were innocent. They were just, they got fed bad code.
Yeah.
And then they got fed bad code, their parents.
Of course.
Society's running on fucking malware. So much of it.
Well said.
That's the tech spirituality dimension, right? Or if you want to go Doctor Strange, which I'm a Doctor Strange guy, there's spells, right? So it's
There
like,
you go.
there's spells, bro. You got to rewrite your spell book. How you're spelling.
That's why
Language.
they call it spelling.
Exactly.
You casting
Gentlemen,
spells.
I know we got to get this guy on a flight.
Yeah, I was just
Fucking
thinking
love
the same
meeting
thing.
you, brother. Let's wrap it up with a powerful round of gratitude and just like a final thought here.
Love it.
Maybe we do a part 2 when we're back home and we have like a full
I like
setup.
that.
And we can all have blue blockers on. The big boys.
Yeah.
All of us. Yeah. And then Sachin can grow a beard in the meantime.
Yes.
Yes. Sachin, no shaving for you, okay? No shaving. No,
We need a beard, bro.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Tell the wifey, no shaving.
You want to kick us off? Gratitude and like a takeaway or like.
Yeah.
Yeah, do it, Sachin.
Yeah. I think 3 things real quick. One is, you know, folks can tell, like, the 2 of us haven't slept. We've had a long day, got up this morning, hit up Akash. Like, we have to do this. We have to do this. There's something in here that we want to share out there. This is my first time coming out there. So much gratitude for the 2 of you to put me in the stage where I can even share what I think might be valuable to the world. You know, absolutely. Thank you both for being strong pillars in my life and helping me turn every corner of my life, from my finances to my health to my spirit, and just showing me what's right, being accountable for me. I think that's huge. That's big. You know, true soul brothers. I appreciate both of you. Thank you. I appreciate my queen. She has been with me through thick and thin. I think she's watching right now.
Yeah, she was
probably
on.
wondering what I'm doing. Hey, Garima. Oh, I love you. Been with me through thick and thin. You know, my twin flame, my soulmate, whatever I want to call it. You know, someone that I've been growing spiritually in partnership with and will continue. And, you know, thank you, Rima. And absolutely, the last one is this world that we're born in, to experience the highs and the lows and everything around. The pleasures of the body, the food, the air, the sun we're getting right now, everything that's out there in this world, and as we travel and cross and experience from the outside in and the inside out, just gratitude for just being alive. I could have been an iguana, but no, I'm a human this lifetime.
Yeah.
So hell yeah.
There it is. You could have a pet iguana though. How about you, Akash? Gratitude, takeaway, codes.
Man, you know, I think Sachin said it best right there. Just being present to the moment, you know, just a whole lot of now. Just be here in the present. Everyone watching us, you know, an understanding of these things to a degree. The universe organizes by frequency. So I know everyone that's here and everyone that will see this and people that will see it in the future, it will be in alignment. So just understand whatever's happening for you in this now moment is happening for you. Because if it wasn't happening for you, it would say the universe is a malevolent universe, and we know that it's not. We actually do for sure know that it's not quantum, even from a scientific standpoint now. We know quantum mechanically it's not a malevolent universe. So remember that, remember the laws, remember to stay in gratitude, and even when it hurts, be in gratitude. You know, one of my shaman always says, don't forget to have fun with that. And if you don't know how to have fun with it, have fun not knowing how to have fun with it.
There it is.
Hey,
Fuck yeah.
hey,
I love that, brothers.
hey.
Well, I'm insanely grateful for this man who trusts me, come out and become Illuminati,
Illuminati.
which we gotta
Illuminati. I
we
was
gotta
laughing.
get
Illuminati.
we gotta get you out here, Akash, at some
I'm
point.
down.
Can you imagine
Nice
this
trip.
guy at the jungle gym just getting
Oh, yeah.
huge?
We're gonna make this happen. We're gonna manifest it.
Hey, I'm down, and I'm grateful to meet you, brother. I definitely feel resonance with you. I mean, he was talking up a big game, and I was like, who is this cat? You're a fucking legend. I'm stoked to connect more. I'm gonna download this video and get my producer to touch it up. I mean, the audio's decent. We got laughter and bikes in the ocean, but I'm gonna toss this up on my podcast. We're gonna
I
do
would
this
love to repost.
again
Yes.
and just continue where we left off. And you know, my biggest takeaway from this conversation and applying everything we're sharing to my own life is that there are times, even this morning, you know, barely sleeping, I was just like, fuck, you know, like, okay, maybe we should postpone this. And you're like, nah, bro, we're here. Let's do it. And I'm like,
No.
all right, let's go.
Go.
Let's go.
Go.
And that little reframe technology,
Yeah.
if you can just pause, for me, it's breath work, or just cold water, something just to, okay, create some space. There's a gap between me and my experience a little bit. What's happening? Oh, this is happening for me. You nailed it. The universe is benevolent. Synchronicity is a KPI. There's no such thing as coincidence. And everything, even if it's fucked up, even if your wife leaves you, even if you hurt yourself, even if you lose all your Bitcoin, guess what? The universe is benevolent. So that experience has the seed of fruit that will bear in your life.
Oh, yeah.
And that is the mind fuck, and that's the secret that all performers, all legends, all artists, all sages, all gurus, they know it. And they practice it in their own way. And we all got to find our own way to that. So, gentlemen, as we sign off here, go forth and let's spread the good word.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you,
Much
Kosh.
love.
Buenos
Peace and
dias over there on the
prosperity.
West Coast. We're going to send this guy back to the West Coast right now.
Yep.
And fuck yeah,
Yeah,
man.
you and me, we'll be connecting. We'll be connecting, brother.
We're vibing.
Hell yeah.
Vibing.
What's the word?
All right, let's get this guy.
I'm
Let's
more
get this guy to
Fati.
the
More
airport.
party is what I want.
I'm more
Let's get this guy
Fati
to
to
the
love
airport.
one's fate.
To love one.
Make sure you follow this guy at Sachin Saindane. Is it Sachin dot?
It's SSACHINS.
Yeah.
Figured out.
SS, yeah. I'm going to tag them up. Follow Akash, his legendary stuff. These are solid brothers. Reach out, send a DM, share this video if you're vibing with it. And we'll see you very soon, family.
Love all.
Hasta pronto.
Love.